Ever felt like you're playing a game but you don't know the rules? Or that some people just seem to effortlessly get what they want while you're left behind? What if I told you there are ancient rule books for power and influence, written by two of history's most brilliant and feared strategists? Today, we're diving deep into the minds of Machiavelli and Sun Tzu to uncover the dark art of control. This isn't just a history lesson. These are psychological tactics used every single day in boardrooms, in politics, and even in our personal lives. If you want to understand these forces, or perhaps even learn to defend against them, you need to stick around. First, let's talk about the master of political maneuvering, Machiavelli. When you hear his name, you probably think of the word Machiavellian, meaning cunning, scheming, and unscrupulous, and you're not wrong. In his infamous book, The Prince, Machiavelli lays out a brutally honest guide for rulers on how to gain and maintain power. His core philosophy, the ends justify the means. He argued that a leader must be willing to abandon conventional morality to ensure the stability and security of their state. One of his most famous and most chilling principles is that it is better to be feared than loved. Why? Because love is fickle. It's based on obligation, and people will break that obligation whenever it suits them. Fear, on the other hand, is constant. It's maintained by the threat of punishment, which is a much more reliable motivator. Think about a strict boss versus a friendly one. The friendly boss might be well-liked, but employees might take advantage of their kindness. The strict boss, who is feared, often gets more consistent results because the consequences of failure are clear and severe. It's a dark thought, but Machiavelli saw this as simple human nature. Another key Machiavellian tactic is the art of deception. He believed a wise ruler must be a great pretender and dissembler. In other words, you have to be good at faking it. You should appear virtuous, merciful, faithful, and religious, even if you are none of those things. The appearance of virtue is often more important than virtue itself. People judge by what they see, not by what is real. This is a powerful form of psychological control. By managing your public image, you control how people perceive you, and therefore, how they react to you. It's about crafting a narrative that serves your purpose, regardless of the underlying truth. We see this constantly in modern marketing and public relations. Now let's travel from Renaissance Italy to ancient China and meet Sun Tzu, the author of The Art of War. While Machiavelli focused on the politics of the state, Sun Tzu focused on the strategy of conflict. But if you look closer, their ideas are surprisingly similar, both rooted in a deep understanding of human psychology. Sun Tzu's most famous principle is that the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. This is the ultimate form of control. It's not about brute force, it's about psychological dominance. How do you achieve this? One of Sun Tzu's key strategies is to know your enemy and know yourself. He said, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." This isn't just about knowing their troop numbers. It's about understanding their mindset, their fears, their ambitions, and their weaknesses. By understanding what motivates your opponent, you can predict their moves. You can manipulate them into doing exactly what you want them to do, all while they think it's their own idea. This is achieved through spies, deception, and psychological warfare. Sun Tzu was a master of misdirection. He famously wrote, "All warfare is based on deception. If you are strong, appear weak. If you are weak, appear strong. If you are near, make the enemy believe you are far away. If you are far away, Make them believe you are near. This creates confusion and uncertainty in the enemy's mind. An opponent who is confused is an opponent who makes mistakes. By controlling the information they receive, you control their reality and therefore their actions. Think about a negotiation. If you desperately want a deal but you act indifferent, you gain the upper hand. The other party might offer better terms because they fear losing the deal entirely. You've won without a fight, using pure psychological strategy. So, how do these two dark masters compare? Machiavelli is direct, even brutal. His philosophy is about seizing and holding power through fear and calculated cruelty when necessary. He tells you to be the lion and the fox, strong enough to frighten the wolves and clever enough to recognize the traps. Sun Tzu, on the other hand, is more subtle. His approach is about flow, deception, and winning, before the battle even begins. He is like water, shaping his course according to the nature of the force confronting him. But here's the most important takeaway. While we call these the dark arts of control, understanding them is not about becoming a manipulative villain. It's about recognizing these tactics when they are used against you. When a politician makes a promise that seems too good to be true, ask yourself if they are simply projecting an image, as Machiavelli advised. When you feel pressured into a decision, consider if your opponent has manipulated the situation to make you feel like you have no other choice. A classic Sun Tzu move. These strategies are powerful because they exploit fundamental aspects of human psychology: our fear, our ego, our desire for certainty, and our tendency to judge by appearances. By being aware of these vulnerabilities, you can build a mental defense. You learn to question motives, to look beyond the surface, and to think strategically about your own actions and reactions. Knowledge of these dark arts doesn't corrupt you. It immunizes you. It levels the playing field. In a world filled with subtle power plays and hidden agendas, the wisdom of Machiavelli and Sun Tzu is more relevant than ever. They teach us that true power isn't always loud and obvious. Often it's silent, strategic, and deeply psychological. By understanding their principles, you can navigate the complexities of human interaction with greater awareness and confidence. You stop being a pawn in someone else's game and start to understand the board itself. So the next time you're in a high-stakes situation, remember the lessons of the prince and the general. Ask yourself, is it better to be feared or loved in this moment? Am I projecting the right image? Do I truly understand my opponent's mindset? And most importantly, can I win this without even fighting? The answers might just give you the edge you need. Thank you so much for joining this deep dive into the minds of Machiavelli and Sun Tzu. If you found this fascinating and want to learn more about strategy, psychology, and power, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let me know in the comments which strategists' ideas you find more powerful. Until next time, stay sharp and think strategically.